Assassin's Creed was released in 2007, over 15 years ago now, and there is rumour that we might be getting a remaster, which definitely sounds appealing to me. But Assassin's Creed 1 had a massive impact on the gaming world, not necessarily because it added anything of massive value, but it's because it started the franchise that to this day is viewed at in many different ways. But for people who don't know how the Assassin's Creed series started, it started with this idea that they wanted to branch out from the Prince of Persia franchise and basically make something that wasn't centered around that main character. And one of the leads at Ubisoft Montreal ended up reading a book about the Order of Assassins, and they ended up coming up with the idea of Assassin's Creed, or that is the story that we get led on to believe about this. But whatever it was that actually started the Assassin's Creed games and how we got them, it ended up leading to us getting this franchise that has some questionable ones, but also some amazing standout games in the series. But what this game did that was different to a lot of other games at the time was adding in an interesting parkour system. But a lot of people end up writing this off, saying that it did nothing special at all with this game. However, at the time there was no other game like Assassin's Creed. Or at least I'll say there wasn't many games like Assassin's Creed. You get a sandbox linear story set in a time of history that basically no other games get set into, with a compelling story, and on top of that you get an interesting spin on stealth games as a whole, with social stealth and a parkour system that really makes you end up feeling like you are hidden in plain sight as an assassin. Now yes, what I would definitely say is that this game doesn't necessarily do anything amazing, but it does everything well enough to make this game actually stand out as a decent game, especially for the time. But the impact of Assassin's Creed 1 doesn't come from the fact that it sent waves across the gaming world, it's actually because it ended up making the goldmine, which is the Assassin's Creed franchise. After the release of Assassin's Creed 1, we obviously got Assassin's Creed 2, one of the best sequels ever known to man when it comes to the gaming genre as a whole. Honestly, again, you guys know my opinion of this game, absolutely outstanding. I love Assassin's Creed 2, but what you ended up getting was a better protagonist, a better antagonist, you ended up getting better side characters across the board, a better open world, a better looking game as a whole, but I would say that the white balance in this game is absolutely horrendous. It's one of the things that really puts you off of it, and when you go from that to Brotherhood, it's absolutely absurd. I don't understand how over the course of, 2 years of these games' developments, or even a year, that it goes from that to that, what? Outside of that though, the gameplay was all round improved. Obviously then Brotherhood topped that, and then later on we end up getting great games like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I'd even go as far as to say Assassin's Creed Unity. At least to today's standards of games, Assassin's Creed Unity isn't actually a bad game at all, especially now if you go back and play it. I think the importance of Assassin's Creed 1 is that it started this franchise that some look at as the biggest scum on the earth and others absolutely love it. I sit somewhere in the middle. I think that some of the games are amazing, but sadly there is also a good amount of them that have become the baseline view of what Ubisoft are, with the scummy moves of monetization and just lying outright to sell games. But this game was the birthplace of this franchise, and at the time they actually cared enough about historical accuracy to get rid of a crossbow, which is really interesting when you consider that we're now fighting historical gods in the desert and minotaurs in Greece. But Assassin's Creed 1 is a simple game at heart, and obviously there's still a lot of things that go a little bit iffy about the game, and it hasn't aged particularly well. I'd still say though that it's decent to go back to overall, but again, it's a bit clunky, a bit of a mess. But if they do decide to remaster it, honestly I think a lot more people will be willing to give that a try over playing Assassin's Creed 1, and honestly I'd love a remaster of AC1, because if that happens, we all know what's on the table, which would be an Ezio Collection remaster, and I would be here for it, guaranteed. I don't care that Ubisoft have taken my money in the past and released Assassin's Creed Valhalla. To play Assassin's Creed 1 or the Ezio Collection with that updated graphics and just the new engine, I think it would look outstanding. But again, obviously, this is coming from someone who loves those beginning games of this franchise, so I'm going to be willing to do that. I think it'd be very interesting to see what they do with possible remasters in the future. I think if they were to remaster any games, 1 makes sense, and then I'd probably say the Ezio Collection makes sense, and then maybe Assassin's Creed 3. Outside of that, I couldn't ever see them doing a remaster for 4. They might do. Who knows? But besides that, I think those ones, which I would class as the old gen Assassin's Creed games, would be the last ones on the table. The 1.5 Assassin's Creed games would be Unity Syndicate, which again, I think they're good enough in terms of their overall looks and overall playability that they would never need a remaster in the first place. And then you obviously have the New Line series, the 2.0 Assassin's Creed, that is Origins through to Valhalla. And if you want to know my opinions on those, I'll have some links down below about each game in particular, and in the future I'll be making critiques, well, not a critique, it'll be a critique of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I'll be doing video essays overall about different games. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.